Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Florida's Fourth Estate. We have a really fantastic show for you today. You know, very often Florida, we're not proud of some of the things that come out of the state or some of the news that comes out of the state.
You don't have to start out by shaming us.
I'm not shaming you. I'm saying today we're going to make you feel good about some of the people who are from the Sunshine State. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
That's right. Glad to have you with us. I'm Matt Austin. We have a fascinating group of people today of the biggest Floridians ever.
We took ourselves out of the running.
Oh, I mean, we didn't want to dominate the list. Thought that would be, but you'll be surprised, I think, today at the huge names that come out. We've got the top 5 most famous Floridians coming at you hot today on Florida's Fourth Estate. Let's get you right into it. It's not really an active star, but let's talk about Wesley Snipes, okay? Born an Orlando kid, now 60 years old, by the way, which would surprise a lot of people. Legit 5th degree black belt in martial arts. And there was a time when Wesley Snipes was in every action movie out there. The guy did the Blade Trinity series. He was in Demolition Man. My all-time favorite, though, Ginger Cat. I don't know.
Passenger 57.
No.
He had a zit the entire movie.
What?
Go watch it.
White Men Can't Jump?
Is that him with
Yeah, it's with Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yes. Okay.
One of the all-time. Anyway, I can tell this is not your favorite person on the list. This is why he's at number 5.
It's not why he's at number 5.
Because Ginger relegated him to number 5.
I did not.
But Wesley's not, I mean, a huge star. He has done some really good movies. He is a legit Floridian. He did have some problems with tax evasion. He's found some drama over the years.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that guy because he really could. I mean, he is serious with the martial arts.
He could karate chop his way through that window over there. You don't want to mess with Wesley Snipes.
No, he's a big star. That's for sure.
Huge star. And he's only at number 5. So just wait. We got some big ones.
When I say the Queen of Wakanda, who do you think about? Well, you can only think of one person. Angela Bassett. I love her. And as a matter of fact, true story, I have people tell me that she could be my doppelganger. That's not, I don't think it's accurate, but.
Is that why you put her on the list? Just so you could say I look like Angela Bassett?
I put her on the list because this woman is incredible. Not only has she had a career that has spanned decades, right? She's one of these people where she has done something in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Now it's incredible. So now she's in the Black Panther series, right? The latest one, The Queen of Wakanda. She's incredible in that. But I think I first met her on screen and Waiting to Exhale. And there's that scene where her husband had cheated on her. She smokes a cigarette and she burns up all his stuff. All the ladies know what I'm talking about because we've all dreamed of doing something.
All the guys blocked it out.
So she's been in Waiting to Exhale. She has been in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Does this ring a bell to you at all, Matt?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
She's a huge star.
Yeah, she went to Boca Ciega High School in St. Petersburg.
She's a St. Pete kid.
Yeah. And she always talks about St. Pete. You know, I feel like if you went to high school somewhere, that's where you're really from because that's an important time in your life. But she is one of those women, one of those actors. You see her and she just has this grace about her. I love everything about her.
Do you like her? I can't really tell, Ginger. I can tell you very distinctly. You're going to be able to tell the difference between which members of this list were chosen by me and which ones were chosen by Ginger. I'm just going to say that right now.
I chose Angela Bassett.
On that note, here's number 3. He's been making people laugh for decades. A lot of people don't know that Carrot Top is, in fact, a Florida kid. Carrot Top's father is a NASA engineer. He born in Rockledge, grew up in Cocoa, Florida, and Carrot Top has been killing it for years. If you're young, Maybe you don't know who this guy is, but
you should.
you should know who Carrot Top is. He has this like very distinct form of comedy, which is all just about puns. He brings out these huge props. He's a prop comic, and he creates these gadgets and inventions that have no real purpose in life, but they are just absolutely hilarious. And he has been doing this shtick for about 30 years. In fact, he has the same Vegas show at the Luxor. He's been going for 17 years straight. How many comedians?
That's incredible. I don't
can do
know.
that?
I don't know. And also his name kind of gives away his look, because you would pick this guy. He's not committing any crimes, because you'll be able to pick him out of a lineup real fast.
One of the most identifiable human beings ever. He used to be identifiable when he was young, and now that he's older, I mean, you can just pick him out of a lineup. Still comes to Florida very often, and definitely a Florida guy who's a big fan of the state.
This guy is number 2 and not number 1 on our list. He's number 1 in my heart, and a lot of hearts here in Central Florida and Orlando. I'm talking about Wayne Brady. That guy's a superstar. He went to Dr. Phillips High School, right? And when you think about him, I can't remember the first time I noticed him, because he's one of those guys who's so talented that he just crosses so many genres. You don't remember the first time you saw him, but you know when you've seen him.
He does it all.
He does.
He really does. Yeah, he can dance, he can act, he's a comedian. You know, all of the members of this list have caught like odd shade over the years. You know, Carrot Top was not considered like a comics comic for a long time. Wayne Brady was bashed for a long time for maybe not being hardcore enough.
Oh, and then he did that thing with Dave Chappelle.
Which is one of the funniest pieces of TV ever in history, when he was like the hard Wayne Brady.
It's so good.
So unexpected.
Yeah, it really is. But he is a guy, he comes to Central Florida quite a bit. And, you know, we see him every weekday on Let's Make a Deal. But man, he does so much more than that. And when you see his body of work, I think, where did I put it? He's got like 5 Emmys and has been nominated for a Grammy. He's been on Broadway. He was Aaron Burr in Hamilton. He was in Kinky Boots as a drag queen, Lola.
Was he in Hamilton?
Not
Really?
the Broadway version. He's in Chicago. But
I get
still,
confused.
he can do everything.
He can.
Everything. And he's a Renaissance man.
The Renaissance man who can do everything is only number 2.
I can't imagine who number 1 might be.
Number 1 in our hearts. This next Floridian, born in Boca Raton, Florida, one of the biggest stars, not just in Florida, but on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ariana Grande. Got her start on Broadway, by the way. Got a Broadway show at 15 years old. She was in the Nickelodeon circuit. And then she took her musical talents to this place called YouTube.
What's that about?
Her videos went absolutely insane. That's how she then got her record label. And from there, she has just churned out huge hit after huge hit. This young little Italian girl from Boca Raton, Florida, is now killing it on the world stage. Ginger, there are very few stars you could pick out in America who are bigger than Ariana Grande right now.
Yeah, I challenge someone to find someone bigger than her. And also, dated Pete Davidson. Have we forgotten
What is
that
that?
already?
Oh, did I leave out that big bullet point that she dated Pete Davidson and broke his heart?
You know what? I feel like if you just take a poll in this newsroom, I think there's some people in here who've dated Pete Davidson. That guy is getting around.
By the way, not me. I have not dated him yet. Still working on it. Feel very fortunate to be able to be in a state where we can have these huge stars. Most of them come back from time to time, not all of them, but certainly a state that produces some very big stars.
Yeah, they certainly do. And speaking of producing big stars, person on that list is going to join us after the break. Who is it?
Now that is a freaking tease, Ginger Cat. Oh yeah. Stick with Florida's Fourth Estate. Welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate. So glad to have you with us talking about celebrities. And when you talk about Florida celebrities, ones that always come up, you get the same handful. And one of them is a fascinating character by the name of Carrot Top.
I know, it is hard to believe that this guy has been around for so long. We all know him by that name, and he's from right here in Central Florida. Hi, no one calls you Scott, so we're going to call you Carrot Top. Nice
Even
to
my
see you.
grandmother called me Carrot Top. How weird is that? I used to think that was the creepiest thing. She goes, "This is my grandson, Carrot Top." And I said, "Grandma, I'm Scott."
Oh my gosh. I shouldn't say it's hard to believe that you've been around as long as you have, but you started your career in the mid 80s and you are still going strong. You just told us that you celebrated your 17th year in Vegas.
At the Luxor, yeah, I've actually been in Vegas for about 28 years, but we did the MGM Grand for about 10 years, and then David Copperfield had me disappear, and I went to the Luxor. We've been at the Luxor now for 17 years. It's unreal. Yeah, we had a kid in the front row just the other night. I said, "How old are you?" He said, 17. I said, "I've been at this theater longer than you on this planet." It's crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. I mean, you have had a career. No one can argue with the success that you have had. You've been on every late night talk show. You've been all over the place in Vegas. What is it like to be a kid from Florida, from Rockledge, Florida, grew up in Cocoa?
Yeah.
Dad's a NASA engineer. A lot of people don't know that about you. Take us back to your Florida roots a little bit. How'd you get started?
It's crazy. I remember wanting to be a comic when I was like 10, 11 years old. We had I remember how my thought process was. We were having a campfire on the beach with all my friends, and the cops came down. They said, "You guys got to take your fire somewhere else." And I said, "We're probably in the safest place to have a fire. You have water and sand. What else could you possibly need?" And the guy's like, "What, are you trying to be funny?" And I was like, "Well, kind of." And all my friends were like, "Dude, you're funny. You had like this thought, kind of a thought process."
Yeah, it's
Um,
one thing for your friends to say you're funny, though, but then
yeah.
when you actually
Oh
are,
no.
because everybody says, "Oh, you're funny, you should do this," but then it
Yeah.
turns out they're
No,
not
trust me,
funny, but you are.
and I still hear that. My friend is so funny. He should be a comedian. I'm like, well, first of all, yeah, there's more to it than that, because I thought the same thing. Like, all my friends think I'm hilarious, and then I get to the club, and everybody's like, what? I don't really understand what's fun. So it was a journey. I remember, especially coming from the Space Center. My dad worked at NASA, and it's not like a showbiz career. I wasn't like. Surrounded by showbiz people. In fact, when I told my dad I want to be a comedian, he says, "The hell you are! You're gonna be a rocket scientist like your father." And I said, "Dad, I'm dumb. You know that, right? And I can't do what you do. I have to. I'm not smart." And so one thing I remember about going to the Space Center to watch one of the launches one time. It was a space shuttle launcher, or maybe just a rocket launch. It was so many years ago. I was probably 12, and the beer line, there's two people in the beer line, and it was like 100 people deep for the Coca-Cola and the hot dogs, right? So my dad's like, "What do you want?" And I said, "I'll just take a hot dog and a Coke." And my dad looked at the line and says, "I'm not waiting in line. You're having a beer." And I said, "I am?" And he's like, "Yeah. Don't tell your mom, but I'm not waiting in that Coke line." So I think I'm 12 and I'm drunk watching the launch. So that's how it all started.
That's
Oh my
wild, man.
God.
I'm curious now, do you have like a team that helps you assemble and put all this
I
stuff
have
together, or is it just you?
I have a beta carrot team. Um, I have.
That's
I've
good.
always
That's good.
I always wanted to make jumpsuits and make my crew wear them. It's beta carotene. But yeah, we have a whole bunch of. It's a team effort. I mean, I've got a sound guy. I've got that does all the sound cues. I've got a guy that does all the video stuff, because there's a lot of jokes in the show that's very interactive. There's a big screen behind me, and so there might be a music cue, or like all the holiday stuff right now. I do a whole bunch of stuff where the video wall really becomes kind of the joke in a sense. So there's a lot of guys, like 6 or 7 guys that work on the show, and we all got to dance to the same beat. It's a lot of it's improv, so we kind of have to, like, I always call it dancing, where I go some way and he follows me and he knows I'm going to go that route. So,
So, Scott, do you ever make it back to Florida? You ever come back here at all?
Yeah, I come back next week. I do on average about a month of shows here, and then back to Florida for a week off. So It's like a month, week. So I get to go back to Florida often, which is nice.
And how do you unwind? How do you relax when you're here? Because everyone knows you. I mean, they spot you and everybody just wants to talk to you probably. How do you
Yeah, I
relax?
mean, I've been there my whole life. So most people now are like, "No, who cares? It's scared tough." But
I don't
how are
believe
you?
you.
You back? Or I always get this. Oh, you're not working anymore? I said, no, I'm just off for a week.
Or any
Oh,
less.
you don't have a show anymore? Like, well, I have to have a break once in a while.
My
That
God.
always makes me laugh because no matter what, no matter where I go, I could be on a plane to go to LA for a day, and they're like, "Oh, you're not working anymore?" I just had a show last night.
I'm leaving a show right now.
They
Yeah,
finally
I
got
do-
rid of you, huh?
I do
Is that what happened?
240 shows a year. Jesus, let me have a day off.
Before we let you go, there's a couple of things I want to know. I want to know your favorite spot in Florida, and I want to know your favorite prop of all time. Hit me with it.
Well, I live on a lake, so I love sitting on my boat. If that's my favorite part of the thing, is just going. If I can float on my boat, I'm in heaven. I do like going down Park Avenue and having lunch down there and taking my little scooter.
Oh, love some winter
And,
parkage. Yeah.
I love it. It's so great. I just skeet my little scooter down there and I park it. And in fact, this is a funny story. So I have a little Vespa, right? And I parked it down by Prado or Starbucks or something.
Oh yeah, Prado's
And
got
this
the best
thing-
pizza.
So I put a little Harley Davidson sticker on the back of it as a joke, right? It fits exactly in the back of on the bumper, right? It looks like it's meant to be a Harley thing, right? So I come walking out of Starbucks to get on my scooter, and there's this big biker guy, and he's standing there he's just looking at it, right? But you could tell, but just by looking at it, he was very uncomfortable with what he was looking at. So I just walked up and I said, he looked at me, he says, "Is this yours?" And the way he said it, I'm like, "Not mine."
Nope.
Like, when the F did Harley Davidson start making effing scooters? And I said, "God, I don't know." And he says, what kind of person would buy this? I said, "I don't know." And I'm holding my coffee, and I had to wait for like 10 minutes to get to leave. And I finally hopped on it, and I went driving by him. I went, neat, this guy. God.
That's great.
Yeah.
That
I
is
like
a
it. And give
great
us your
story.
favorite prop of all time as well.
My favorite prop of all time, goodness gracious. Well, there was one that George Carlin thought that was brilliant. And when he said that, I thought, okay, it's my favorite prop. And it is really clever. And I thought of it, you'll know about the time. So the telephone, paper cups, and string, right?
Right.
So they've had that around forever. It's the telephone. "Hey, what's going on?" "Not much. What are you doing?" "You seem close." Well, I thought we should have the updated version for today's kid, right? So I said, this is the new paper cups and string for our system now. So I said, it had the two cups. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I had another cup that came. "I have to call you back. I have another call." And a call waiting came out of the other cup. And then, yeah, it's great. And then 3 cups came out. And I said, "Look, it's conference calling." And then I had a clear cup for caller ID. "I know it's you, pickup. I'm looking at you." So
That's good.
It was funny and clever. And then George Carlin walked up and he said, "That's funny. That's funny. That's clever,
That's
kid."
great. That's
Yeah.
high praise. That's high praise too. And it was.
Yeah,
funny.
and it was a good. It was a clever prop that I would put up against anybody's stand-up. It was clever. It was, funny.
I like
my
that.
gosh.
Thoughtful.
That's fantastic. I'm going to look for you on Park Avenue on your Vespa.
Oh yeah.
Or my Harley.
Yeah, not his
sorry,
Vespa.
Harley.
All right, that sounds good.
My Harley Davidson. No, I call
Oh
it my
my
Hard. I call it my Hardly Davidson.
Correct.
Never
Correct.
stops. He never stops. I love it. Carrot Top, we are thankful that you're a Floridian, and we are thankful
I
that you
am
took
too.
the time to hang out with us
Yeah.
right here on Florida's 4th Estate. Check.
Ah.
I didn't know why it's even here. I just looked down.
That's what a great way to end the show. Little
gonna
theme
be our
music.
theme
Every
song.
kitchen has a harmonica in it, doesn't it?
It does now.
I don't have
It
one
does
here,
now.
apparently.
Oh man! And now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Perfect. Thank you so
You're
much.
delightful.
Check
Thank
him out when
so
you go to
much.
Vegas. Where can people see you?
Yeah, you can see me at the Luxor every night except Sundays, and we have my Instagram's kind of fun. I post something almost every day, something silly like that. It's Carrot Top Live on my Instagram, or carrottop.com, and Real Carrot Top for all the other like Twitters and Facebooks and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
you're-
I like
Yeah,
it.
if you just Google Carrot Top, it'll come up a little. I'm there.
We'll be following you. All right.
Yeah,
we always
yeah.
have followed you. So, Carrot Top, thank you so
And
much.
I love you guys. Thanks for the love and the support of
Wow.
my local hometown. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for watching Florida's 4th Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.